Hello and welcome to the Video Gamer UK podcast. I'm not going to use the sentence that just came before that.
No, it's a bit inappropriate.
That was gross. My name is Chris Bratt, and today I'm joined by hockey enthusiast, ice hockey enthusiast indeed.
Yeah.
David Scammell.
You'd never suspect that, would you?
No, and I believe the YouTube comments have some bones to pick with
I love
your
those
knowledge
YouTube
of that
comments.
particular sport.
So we start the video by saying we have no idea what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know the rules. We're just having fun. And then the comments proceed to be like, "You're shit. What are you doing? You don't know what you're doing." Amazing. Internet. No, actually, no. I was going to say internet never changed, but actually, at the moment, the internet should change.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that's mainly because if you search the NHL 15, your face comes up. People click on it.
Yeah.
And then maybe expect, I don't know, some insightful commentary on NHL 15.
Yeah, but when you caveat with, "I have no insightful commentary to offer."
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah. So
people are like, "You clearly don't know anything about the goal interference rule." Like,
I don't know what...
we all clearly we don't. Like, we said that.
what about the one that went through the back of the net? No one's commenting on that. This game's not buggy. You just don't know the rules. Yeah, except it went through the back of the net.
I think that there'll be, for some reason, that'll be fine. That's just another example of you not understanding the rules.
Anyway, yeah, NHL's good.
It's your man, Jim Trinker.
All right.
I keep trying to pick up things off Jim to make myself sound better.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Yeah.
What did you
It's getting
say?
disturbing.
Your man.
Your man.
He tweets like that, doesn't he? He's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, your man, someone has done this."
Right.
Your boy.
Yeah, kind of like that, a little bit.
My you keep adopting my colloquialisms, which is fine. I'm not complaining.
You're right, Jim. You're reaching for something.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm just
He's picking up the silence.
The
just
silencer.
wondering what it is. That's all.
Should we use that?
It gets rid of electronic noise. It doesn't
Alright.
do anything.
Does it really?
I bought that.
How does that
a long
work?
time ago. Can you want to introduce me first, Bratters?
It just looks like a
I was
plug.
about to.
Do that, and then I'll tell you what the silencer is.
The returning editor-in-chief of VideoGamer.com,
Wow.
Mr. Tom Orry.
I'd like to think I'm just still your ultra boss.
Yeah, well, what you are. You are my ultra boss.
Yeah.
Are you going to bulk up like
No,
Simon?
No.
Oh,
No.
It's too
that
much.
would have
effort.
been good.
How much? Just imagine, like, it's the amount of time he put into that, or puts into that.
It's a lot of effort.
I just can't.
Yeah.
Just don't. I don't have. I actually don't. I don't know how I'd fit that into my life.
I just can't be bothered.
Yeah.
I just like...
You could do it, bro. You got loads of time.
I'm trying to get through Stargate SG.
You've
One
got
of the
so much
moments.
free time.
Jim, you can relate with that, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a very
can.
time-consuming
Sorry, Bratters.
process.
Sadly, I
Forget
can.
we haven't told people what the silencer
What is it? What the hell
That
is
is
it?
a
Is it-
very. I think about when TVs were still massive.
Mhm.
Me and James,
Back in the olden days.
we were well into getting like home theatre stuff. So we thought, well, this thing people say is good. The silencer
It sounds very
apparently
impressive.
gets rid of electronic noise
Actually-
in signals,
Was it
like cables and things. So
I feel like I should probably know more about that,
it doesn't do anything.
but it doesn't feel like it's got any weight to it. I feel like
doesn't. That's one of the issues.
this is
with
just
it.
an empty box.
It costs about 30 quid, I think.
All right, okay.
Well,
You literally bought a piece of plastic with a plug on it,
yeah.
thinking it would improve your AV
That's
equipment.
what we were told by people.
I'm going to plug it in.
It's like when they say, "Yeah, you should buy a £200 HDMI cable."
Imagine if when he plugs this in, the podcast quality. Oh dear, this is embarrassing, bro.
You're right, Bratters.
This is quite embarrassing.
Wow. So when you say
Well.
the silencer, when you say the silencer does nothing, what you actually mean is it's the most amazing thing ever.
People are going to think that was really impressive. What actually happened was, whilst I was leaning over, I kind of yanked one of the cables out.
You fell off your chair, bro.
But it did. The end result was the same. It silenced something. So there you are.
Silence you in a minute.
All right. Okay. Shall we get on to talking about some video games?
Oh God.
If you want.
I reckon, unless anyone disagrees, Jim and Dave should kick off with some infamous chat. Because
Really?
you live
We
streamed
can
it.
do, yeah.
Infamous. Yeah, we've been. I've been playing it, and Dave's been looking at it,
Yeah.
and it's Infamous Second Son. It's the same game. It's basically a slice of Infamous Second Son, specifically the bit where you get the neon powers off a girl called Fetch, and the game becomes a lot better than it was for the first 5 hours.
Right. This is just
Because you're playing her character, so you've got her powers. So it's all about that neon power set. So in one sense, it is essentially the best stuff from Infamous Second Son put into a new kind of small story campaign, which is a prequel.
It's called First Light for those who haven't seen this already.
So it's a prequel to the base game, but it's infamous. So it's really sort of boring.
It looked really dull.
Yeah,
It did look really dull.
Infamous
It's
doesn't
dull.
look dull. It looks pretty. And,
On a
and
technical
there's
level, it
neon
looks
powers.
gorgeous.
I've yet
Looks
to play
gorgeous.
it. I like watching it from a distance.
That's
It
always
doesn't
been the
seem to have
problem
any
with
real
Infamous.
personality to it. That's
No.
my problem with it.
No, it doesn't at all. I mean, that's always been the problem with Infamous games. They're always really good technical achievements. They've always got really good ideas in them. They just
Because it's
the whole
essentially
just-
like a superhero
Yeah.
game, isn't
Mhm.
it? But it doesn't have any, like, modern superhero films are all, they have all like the superpowers and stuff, and they also have quite a lot of comedy and
yeah,
like they're kind of fun for everyone type films. And
Yeah.
this is just a bit po-faced.
Well, Second Son's a bit. It kind of injects humour at times, but it never really achieves
always
it.
sort of
and it's quite
frat boy
yeah,
humour,
exactly.
yeah.
And it's quite dark as well, isn't it? In places,
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, so
I don't know if it really works. Like,
What does this add? Is it got challenges or something as well, like leaderboards or something?
it's got right peppered throughout the story. The main character keeps flashing back to being trained by the DUP, the horrible sort of dystopian organization that captures all these super people.
conduits?
pricks.
They've worked this storyline in where, in order to study her powers, they kept putting her into these what they call battle arenas, where you go in and you fight a load of holographic enemies using a particular power each time. Those battle arenas are the other feature of the DLC or the expansion, whatever you want to call it. Where you can keep going back to them to improve your times and improve your scores or whatever, which is fair enough if people want to do that. But
Who does?
it's actually it's
I
actually just irritating.
I
to
thought
me
the
that
best
they've
thing
put it
about
into the story.
Infamous was like the getting around the big city as a
Exactly.
superhero that jumps from
the
buildings.
movement, the traversal, and then suddenly they lock you in an enclosed interior,
Yeah.
beating people up.
yeah,
Rubs.
it's bad. And they do this like every time there's a major story moment, they fire you back into one of these battle arenas, and you have like it usually introduces a new power, and you have to defeat 30 or 40 enemies with that power.
Just sounds like
before
puff.
they'll allow you to proceed.
Just to pad it out.
So yeah,
This is one of the questions we usually ask at the end of the podcast, but it kind of feels more relevant to talk about it now. Does someone asked whether or not this DLC feels a little bit last gen? Are you getting the same kind of value and like quality from it that?
I think it's similar to what we were saying yesterday in that it doesn't feel like it's had the love and attention that the main game would have had, and it does feel like a cheap add-on rather than a worthwhile sort of
of course we're talking
well-considered.
about it as DLC, but it's actually a standalone.
Yeah, that's
product,
right,
isn't
actually.
it?
Yeah.
That's the weird
It's
thing.
like, what is it, like 10, 12? I don't know. how
I think it's
much it is.
$11.99 as a download, and I
Yeah.
think the disc version is like 16 quid. I don't know why it's more expensive.
Yeah, it's called
but
Infamous First Light. It's the Second Son isn't in the name
No.
at all, is it? Even though it is.
Yeah.
But it feels. I don't see
it's
how that
weird
isn't.
that it's basically a DLC that's been repackaged as a game on its own in its own right, because it doesn't really work like
Yeah.
as that.
What's the
it
reason
makes
for
a
that?
lot
Do you
more
think?
sense as
Because people are.
I think we'll
is
start
that-
seeing more of that, to be honest.
Is that like?
Sony
Do
have
they
done
think
it-
people are going
Sony
to trial
have done it
that?
quite a bit, haven't they? They've
And then
done
eventually
this
buy the full
before.
game?
Like they've done it with Ratchet and Clank.
Did they?
Ratchet
What,
and Clank.
DLC stuff?
What, a standalone DLC we're talking about? Or did I
Yeah.
just zone out? They did Quest for Booty, wasn't it? That was meant to be a DLC, and it kind of got added as like a mini
Oh, I see. Right.
mini standalone adventure. And
So what's the reason though? Is it people they
guess
expect people
I
to
guess that's barrier to entry, isn't
Yeah,
it?
you
come
You
into
don't need
it
the
with
game.
this and then
you
buy
might-
the
I
game?
guess they hope is that people
As a result.
give this a go, like it, and then spend the full amount on the full game. But it's kind of reverse DLC,
Yeah.
I suppose. But
It sounds like this isn't the best representation of that game anyway.
Well, it kind of is because it's probably the best power, like Jim was saying,
Oh,
the best
right,
power
okay, yeah.
in that
and
game.
some people,
but
well, we don't seem to. None of us here love it. I mean, Brett does like Infamous more than us, but he's not in it at the moment.
he
But
likes Killzone
lots
as well,
of
though.
there
Brett
are
doesn't like Sean Bean.
Well, yeah, but
Well, who
other,
is this
there we
guy?
go.
Why does he work here?
yeah.
Fucking fit.
I mean, other people, other outlets like websites and whatever, do seem to like Infamous more than we do. I don't know why we don't like it, but
I just don't understand it. Like I discovered when I reviewed Second Son that there are a lot of Infamous fans out there.
I think that just ties into the kind of
Well,
people
yeah.
that have really bought into
Yeah.
the PlayStation brand.
I think
it's
it's
one of the big
basically 'cause
names.
it's a first party game, and
Yeah.
but it's
I really
I mean,
enjoyed the original. The original Infamous I really liked.
Yeah,
and Infamous
same
2
here.
I couldn't be bothered with.
yeah.
I don't know why. Second Son I played it for 5 hours, something
Yeah.
like that, 6 hours. Just couldn't.
They've always got like cool ideas. I mean,
it looks gorgeous. The powers look fun, but I've been turned off Second Son ever since they first revealed it with that character.
yeah.
Well, that's the one thing the DLC does have going for it.
Yeah,
the character is
that's
more
what I was going to say.
interesting.
She's not wearing a beanie hat, right? Is that correct?
And she's not. No.
Excellent. And she doesn't seem like a massive jerk.
I like the character. She's a lot more likable and approach and like relatable. And she's flawed, and all the things that the best superhero characters are. But
She needs new tights, though.
yeah,
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's wrong with the tights?
Oh, a lot of ladders.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
She needs new clothes, like. But it's again, if they made it a lot shorter, if it was just like 3 hours and it was just a load of story missions that told this story. That's the other thing about it. It's telling a story that was essentially told like through exposition in Second Son. So it doesn't even have that going for it, which it's sort of there's nothing revelatory about it. Even if you were right into the story of Second Son, which I can't imagine anybody really is. Like it's not going to tell you anything. It's just demonstrating things that you already knew about.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but right, so the Infamous series is all about superheroes with superpowers, essentially.
Yeah.
Or normal people that suddenly get superpowers.
It was meant to be
Yeah.
about like choices, wasn't it? Like
Yeah.
good or bad, or
and all
whatever.
the things that you could do when you suddenly have these new powers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the actual game turns into a shooter with sort of Uncharted, Tomb Raider type
Yeah. It's a shooter collector.
hanging and climbing and that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, but you could do so much more. You could make it cool. You could make this series pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, what if a normal guy suddenly, like Homefront, what if a normal guy was suddenly in a revolution? Well, not a revolution, but you know what I mean. Invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do it. Didn't do a good job of that. And Infamous doesn't do a good job of making you feel like this normal guy who gets superpowers.
Yeah, it does feel kind of disappointing that it's ignoring its strength there.
Yeah.
I think it says a lot that every time we talk about this game, we always start by saying it looks really, really good, and then there's always...
Thing is, the games, when they made the Sly games, they're so... I don't quite see how they went from that to this, because those games are so full of characters and they're fun, and they like... The world is like... It's just a nice place, and like they've like... And then they went to this, and it's like complete opposite in terms of like style and everything. It just doesn't feel... I don't know where they went. Maybe they were just fed up of being like the people that make the nice kiddie games. They weren't for kids, but they looked like they were. And now this, hopefully they, I don't know how well this sells, but hopefully they try something new.
Sounds alright, doesn't it? Infamous.
Because I mean, what has happened quite a bit is Sony build up franchises, then they give them to someone else, and the core team moves on to something else. So who knows? Maybe they'll do a new thing.
Yeah,
but I mean, as like a showcase PS4 launch title, kind of. It looks good, which I guess was what they wanted.
We were saying this yesterday as well on the stream, that if Second Son was to come out now, after Watch Dogs, sort of significantly after GTA, and I think people would look at it like, don't know. I don't think it would get away with it. I think it came out in a good period. It came out just after people had dried up on the launch titles for PS4, looking for something new, next gen, and it was there.
I think it was one of the first games you could buy on PlayStation 4 to show what that upgrade was really doing as well. Like you could, if you wanted something to go, this is what graphics look like now. Infamous was a really good pick for that.
I think it came out now, or
it's
a
a bit
time,
soulless to sell a game just on that, though.
Far lower than that.
As it worked really well as a showpiece for what the next generation going forward was going to look like. And the sort of things it would do, but it's not in and of itself a good example of a PS4 game. It's just, again, I mean, as everyone says, it looks nice, but there's nothing upstairs. So.
Just to go back to that question about talking about the way we kind of assess quality and value DLC, last night Mario Kart 8 got some DLC revealed.
I think what you're saying, what you're
new tracks,
trying to say
a
here
bunch
is
of new.
Nintendo completely revolutionised the way we get new content in games. That's what appears to be the reaction.
People seem very, very impressed with.
I've seen that, and I don't
everything
understand
to do
it.
with
Aren't they calling it add-on content
they
to the
are.
DLC?
AOC, isn't it? They've called it.
Is it really?
I don't get this. I'm going to get people coming at me. Oh, Nintendo are great. I don't understand why this is any different. Other than the price. The price seems quite good.
Yep.
Don't say this is any different to any other DLC. New tracks, new characters for a racer.
Yeah, I guess
Like,
it is just.
Why are they revolutionising? What are they revolutionising? What are they doing?
I guess it is the price that's
I think
people
it's
are
the
surprised
fact
by.
that Nintendo games have Nintendo fans attached to them, and they get excited about stuff.
That's
pretty
fine.
much
I'm
it.
excited about it. I'll play it. I'll download it. But I don't think they're doing anything different to what
No.
anyone else is.
In fact, they're just doing it later than everyone else. Like,
Yeah.
it's taken them a long time. I think they possibly could charge more for it. It seems a bit cheap to me based on what you get. I mean, like you look at what COD charges, for example,
So it's-
there's 3 or 4 maps.
There's 2 packs, right? The
2 packs. One in November, one in May
And
next year.
what's the pricing like?
£7 each or £11 for
You
the
get 8
both.
tracks and then the characters associated with them. Or
I'm trying to think.
it's 16 tracks in total,
Yep.
right? So 8.
8 per pack.
Mm-hmm.
3 characters per pack. And 4 vehicles
Right.
per pack. So, the pricing is good.
How much is it?
£7 a pack or £11 for both.
£7 a pack.
Pound a pound.
I don't know. I don't think that. Is that pricing as good as Burnout Paradise? You didn't get any new tracks with Burnout Paradise, did you?
No.
You got car packs for like £1, didn't you, in Burnout Paradise?
Yeah.
If I remember rightly.
I think Burnout Paradise was almost a weird kind of
Yeah.
is alone in that it was very good value.
I
Whereas,
think. I guess
you are
one of the
forgetting
things.
that they're putting Link into
I'm
Mario
only going
Kart
back
as well.
I know.
That-
But I'm only going back to Burnout Paradise because I think it's the last racer I bought any DLC for.
When you think like Nintendo's typical pricing on the eShop is terrible.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know what a NES game is like £5 or something. People are never going to spend that money on that. And I think they could quite easily have gone, here's Link, £3.
Yeah.
And so I think the fact they haven't done that is good. And, in that, when you put it in that perspective, I think the pricing is a really good
I
deal.
don't know. When folk were going on about the good price, and I thought it was going to be like £2 for the lot or something. But
Well,
$7.
Jim, you demand the world.
And no, I'm not saying.
Jesus.
it's because he's
fine.
PC gamer now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything should be free on PC.
You've been looking at those Steam sales again, haven't you?
I have. Yeah.
Dangerous.
I just don't
world.
understand. Like, this could quite easily be like Sonic Transformed DLC, where they go, yep, here's 3 Sega characters, a couple of new Sega tracks, and people have been like, yep,
Who
DLC.
the fuck
lol.
knows who the Sega characters are?
Well, yeah, but whatever. Where's Rice Star? Why aren't Rice Star characters? Bring back Rice Star. Best
This
Sega
is
game.
Alex Kidd.
No,
All right.
no. Alex Kidd is not good.
All right, then. Shall I talk about something that I've been playing that I think's really,
Can we have
really
some
good?
positivity, please?
Is
This podcast is so negative.
This a PC game, bros?
It can be, but it's also consoles and iOS and
What is it then, bros?
anything you
It's
fancy.
not XCOM again, is it?
Jeez, why are you people like
it-
this?
is it
I've
like
just
XCOM?
completed the 2nd season of The Walking Dead, episode 5. It's called No Going Back, and it was really, really, really good. I've had so much fun with that season as a whole, and I know we talked about this before. Not many people seemed it hasn't had the same buzz as the first season. People definitely aren't talking about it in the same way, which I think is a shame.
Yeah.
It's maybe not as important as that first season was.
Yeah.
If I'm
it is a
completely
shame
honest.
that it is a real shame that it's lost that momentum. I mean,
Is that because a couple of the episodes in the middle weren't that great?
I think possibly yes, but I don't think that's the reason people aren't talking about it. I don't think it's ever had the buzz, even from the beginning. I think it had something to do with the fact that The Wolf Among Us came out, and I don't think that wasn't as popular as The Walking Dead. I think a lot of people got burnt out on the Telltale.
I think that's the thing. I think
System, yeah.
it didn't have that big bang.
Yeah.
Here's The
Yeah.
Walking Dead.
I think if
And it all felt a bit muddled.
I think
and
if
sort of
season
all
2
over
had
the
come out
place.
before The Wolf Among Us, it might have done significantly better.
I think that the Telltale format got oversaturated. I think,
And this is just the start, though, isn't it? Like it's about to get
Well,
so much more. There's going to be a third
first,
season of The Walking Dead. Let's not forget as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been. They've got a really, really, really. I mean, their adventure game template is like Ubisoft's open world template. It's like the first game of theirs I really got into was the Back to the Future series.
Yep.
Which was just sort of like, it felt like a daft cartoon based on Back to the Future, but it was great for that reason. I didn't get in. I didn't like the sort of earlier stuff they did with Monkey Island or whatever.
Wallace and Gromit.
Wallace and Gromit. Just not
Jurassic
bothered.
Park.
What was the other thing they did?
They did
Sam
Sam
and
Max,
Max.
didn't they?
Sam and Max. Yeah. But yeah, I think Back to the Future was like the first game where I actually really enjoyed what they were doing, and then obviously, I mean, as we all know, Walking Dead completely smashed it. But after Walking Dead, like, I was really excited about The Wolf Among Us because I've read Fables. Like,
Oh,
it's
okay.
one of my favorite graphic novels. It's fantastic. even though the guy who writes it's a total dick. So I was really looking forward to that. Great characters, great mythology to draw on, perfect fit. And then I played it and it's like, I'm burnt out on this.
Yeah.
It's Walking Dead again.
I think one of the biggest things Telltale gets wrong, besides the technical stuff, which I'm surprised they still get away with. We were talking about this.
Season 2 is a hell of a lot better than Season 1 was.
Right,
but
fair
a
enough.
hell of a lot better.
But there was still a lot of talk about how buggy Telltale games are.
Yeah.
But that aside, I think it's the fact they don't have a schedule.
If
It's a monthly release, like, I'm looking forward to playing it month on month on month.
It's actually, that's had a detriment on my time with Season 2, to be honest. Some of the characters from early on that were referenced in this final episode, I had to really pause the game and just read up on who they were and how they'd influenced my story, which shouldn't be the case.
Because you don't start watching 24 and go, wonder when I'm going to be able to see the next one.
Yeah, and the fact that they're released so far apart, it sucks, but I'd be okay with that if I knew what that schedule looks like. I think, to be honest, now's the better time to pick up Season 2. I think you do it all in one go.
Well, that's the thing. I think
binge on it if you want, or just play it at your own pace.
They strike me as the perfect kind of publisher-developer to adopt this EA Access approach and just say, subscribe to Telltale, you get... And do like a Netflix type thing. Like, this is the new series of The Walking Dead. Here you go.
And I get why they don't, to be honest, because a big part of the Season 1 of The Walking Dead was the conversation that was going on around every episode as it came out. That hasn't been there in the same way with Season 2.
It's losing it.
So I think now you can start looking at some of these Telltale adventures, or whatever you want to call them, and play them in one sitting. Or over a couple of days or whatever. That being said, the Season 2 has been a hell of a lot better than many hoped, I think. Clementine... So when we first talked about this, I think was with either episode 1 or 2, I said that I was enjoying it. I thought Clementine was a great lead character. The only problem is I'm not sure what the purpose of the season is. What story is it trying to tell?
Yeah.
And episode 5, by now, it's nailed it. The story ends up being basically you trying to figure out who Clementine is outside of... So as we've said before, in Season 1, you kind of look at her through Lee's eyes. You're constantly trying to protect this little girl. That's your motivation for absolutely everything. Every decision you make, whether you drop people out of church towers or you pick them up, is because you're trying to do something that's going to save this girl later down the line. So you don't have that anymore, and all the decisions are you through her, and you find this completely different character. Even when when you're looking at the options that you have to pick, when you're reacting to something, it's almost like seeing her thought process. So it's do I react with anger straight away here, or do I do something a little bit more forgiving? And it's kind of, you can almost imagine her thinking that as it's happening, and that you never saw that side of the character in Season 1, just because you saw her. She was hardly even a character. She was this kind of, just this idea that you were protecting throughout it, this little innocent girl.
Yeah. Of course, as well, the difference between 1 and 2 as well is that because of the nature of the relationship with Lee and Clementine, any decision you make, good or bad, has this sort
you could justify
has this moral cushion.
Exactly.
I'm doing it because I want to save this little girl. So it's okay that I let a grown man die because I'm saving a little girl.
But when you do it through her, it feels selfish.
It's selfish
because you, to be honest, you still do have the same kind of thought process. Because you still care about Clementine as a character. But when you're doing it, you're protecting yourself in a weird way. So I think it was episode 4, the one just before this, where you really have a situation where it's like there's two options, and the one I went with, really looking back in hindsight, is really hard to justify. And yet I did it immediately at the time because it was best for Clementine. But because you're doing it through her, it feels different. I feel bad about that decision, whereas I probably would have been okay if I'd done it through Lee. Somehow I would have gone, well, I had to do it for her. And that's the interesting experience of Season 2, that kind of change in perspective. A character that you thought you knew pretty well, you think about entirely differently. And the final few decisions of episode 5, you kind of really show how far you've come with her character, and you do stuff that you never would have even thought about, and you have to make some really, really horrible decisions. And it's taken the whole season to get to a place where you can really do that with her character, I think. And that was cool. I think Season 2 is very valid. The purpose is
That's
there.
a box quote. Very valid.
Very valid.
Well, you know what I meant.
There's a
It did
weird-
feel at first that maybe that
Yeah.
season was just there because
There's a
Walking
weird
Dead's popular.
parallel with the TV series Walking Dead as well, where the first series had everyone raving, everyone talking about it, and the second series everyone had dropped out by like 2 episodes in. But then you had this tide of people at the end of it going, "No, stick with it. It's really good. It's
At the
really
very
good."
end, yeah.
And it sort of survived.
I don't think
plateaued in this. Now it's reasonably popular, even though it's not quite got the buzz it used to have.
Yeah,
Hopefully that will happen with the Telltale series.
I get why that happened with the TV. I think the TV series, the second season, they just got the pacing really wrong.
No, they fucked it. It was boring.
I don't think that's fair to say about the game. I think the pacing was fine. I think it took a while to
But
figure out what the reason
it lost people
was. Yeah,
basically.
and that is. I don't know if it'll get them back as well because like we said, there's a third season coming. Have they said any kind of when that? Of course, they haven't said a timescale for
No,
it.
I don't think so.
Who knows? They'll announce it 4 days before it comes out, probably.
How do you feel about going into a third season now? Do you feel confident that it will be like avoiding spoilers? I don't know what goes on in the second season, but do you, what do you think?
Well, a little bit. I kind of wish, in some ways, the third season wasn't continuing that storyline because the final few decisions, like I said,
and you think it will? It definitely.
I don't know yet.
Right. Okay.
Because I feel like at the end of season 2, the decisions I've made feel really important. They're like the defining characteristics now of what my Clementine has become.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with the Walking Dead decisions and the Telltale decisions in general is that you make these really horrible decisions every single episode. They feel really important, and yet they end up just delaying what was going to happen anyway. Because of how the game is structured, if you save one character, generally they're killed off in the next episode anyway. Because it doesn't make sense for them to do that many branches, or it would be too, it would take so much time to develop a game like that. And so I feel like the decisions at the end of episode 5, the end of season 2, have been important. Like, they are my decisions. Clementine's future
But don't you feel that
is different now.
Don't you feel that at the end of every episode? Like, what's different about going into a new season than it would be a new episode?
Because if this feels like it's going to have long-standing...
Right. Okay.
Like, it feels like her story...
They're more significant decisions.
Yes, and for a longer period of time as well.
Right, okay.
Whereas if a new season starts...
So she doesn't die at the end of season 2?
I don't know.
Brilliant.
I don't know. There's multiple endings. I've only seen one of them.
Right.
And so because there are multiple endings, if the third season does continue from that, which I wouldn't be surprised because some of these characters are well liked, are they just going to have to? My ending won't be important because it can't be. They'll have to tie them all together somehow.
Right.
And that is the blessing and the curse of Telltale. You make these important choices all the time, but they can never last. So it's nice to get to an end of a season and feel like, yes, all right, that's happened now. I've changed what this group is going through.
I get you.
I'd be happy to leave it there. To be honest, I don't know what
That's
they
right
could
with
do
Infamous
to get
as well, isn't it?
in.
Didn't Infamous 2 go one way or the other? And then suddenly, for second son, I assume it went one direction. And
It's the same with the first one as well.
You feel cheated when that happens, don't you?
They always
Yeah.
pick an end.
The same as like Metro came out, the Redux came out, and the end of the first game,
spoilers.
you choose
something.
You choose something basically, and then the second game just picks one of them. So it's like, what's the point of doing it?
It's a shame, isn't it? Because some of the best stories recently have been games in which you make these big decisions. BioWare, present you with big choices at the end of the games usually, and yet they can't. I think they do better than most, but it can't have that much of an impact because they still have only one story they really want to tell. You get to have a few options along the way, but you can't impact it that much.
Mass Effect 2 killed you off at the beginning. Like,
yeah.
Forget your old shepherd. Here's a new shepherd.
Yeah.
There you go.
That was great. But
So.
it's I don't know that it is. I really would like to see Telltale do something that could address that. I don't know how they do it. I don't think they ever will want to spend that much time on a game that would have that many branches to it.
Surely they need to make one big game for that to happen, no? Or not? Like one big...
Yeah, and not as a season.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe not.
It is difficult with the episodes, I guess, because they've got to bring all those choices together so they can tell a story that makes sense.
They need to... The biggest problem Telltale have is that they never strike when the iron's hot. Like, they always delay. Like, the episodes never come out when people actually want them to come out,
They-
when people are ready.
They
for
just
them.
give no. They're really bad at explaining when they're going to come
Yeah,
out. So
it
when did
just-
we
it
find out
just
that episode
upsets
5 was going to
people.
come out? It was a week before,
Last
right?
week.
That sucks. The final episode.
It's exact- how-
it should have a big build up to it.
Yeah. And like, how do you kill a TV series? Like, if a network wants a TV series gone, if they want to justify cancelling it forever, they dick about with a time slot
Yeah.
and make sure nobody knows when the fuck it's going to be on. Telltale just do this with all their stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Would
a
you
wonder
rather?
that-
Would you rather wait longer for season 3, but have it delivered every week or
Yeah.
every?
Yeah, or every 2 weeks.
At
Yeah.
regular pace.
Yes,
I'd rather
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if they were a bit optimistic about season 2 because when did they announce that season 3 was going to be a thing? Was that-
For a month, was it? It's like July or
oh,
something. like
okay,
that.
then so it was
June,
fairly
July.
recently. So they must have been doing well enough for them to justify that, I guess.
It's a
And it
weird
is still
sort
their
of-
big name.
It's a weird kind of model, isn't it? Because the episodic model, as I understand it, one of the initial kind of justifications for it was, well, we can use the income from the first episode to fund the second one and so on. But surely aren't Telltale used to be, small and up and coming, but aren't they at the point now where they could, because the episodic format works creatively well as well for what they do, are they not at the point now where they could essentially make the season and then just
Well,
scatter
presumably
it over
getting
monthly
funding up
releases?
front. Like, presumably things like Borderlands and Game of
Oh, yeah,
Thrones,
absolutely.
that's going to have a massive cash injection at the
Yeah,
start that will
yeah.
probably be enough to fund the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know why they can't do that now.
I mean, I could understand when they were a startup,
Yeah,
essentially,
yeah,
but
yeah.
now,
I guess they think of when season 2 would have had to be released, though. If that was the case, it would have been like
Yeah.
2 months ago. It would have been released. That is a long time.
but you just
after
said you'd
season
have preferred that.
I would have,
But
but
they
I
also
understand why
have-
they think they need to get in earlier than that.
The thing is, though, is that if that had happened, if season 2 would have come out a month ago, they'd have said there's a new episode each week or every 2
Yeah.
weeks. I'd have played it from the beginning. I'd have bought each episode and I'd have been like, yeah, looking forward to playing that in a couple of weeks. Whereas now I'm just like, I'll wait till it goes cheap on Steam.
Mhm.
So
I think a lot of people are there as well. Yeah,
Hmm.
but like I say, it is really worth playing. I've enjoyed season 2 a lot. I think that some of the it's just the old Telltale problems are still there. Their own timing and the fact that up until the end of the season, your decisions are temporary for the most part.
yeah.
Still a great storyline. Clementine is a brilliant character to follow,
Yeah.
and the other characters that you interact with when you first start off are. It's weird because you immediately compare them to the first group, and you kind of cross your arms and go, they're not as good. Like I want, where's all the people that I used to care about? That you do get used to it after a while.
That's
First
cool.
episode's perhaps a little trickier.
what season was
now that
better?
Season 1
Sorry.
is better.
Season 1's
yeah,
better.
it's more important. The story there was more important, and you know what? The fact that there was an ongoing conversation whilst it was playing added to my experience loads. I didn't have that at all, really. The only people I've spoken to about season 2 are the people that have reviewed it. I don't know that many people that are playing it,
Okay.
and that does take away
You know
from
what,
that.
now
game.
that the whole
Yeah.
lot is out, and this goes for Wolf Among Us as well. The whole lot's out for Wolf Among Us, isn't it? No.
Yes.
Isn't it finished yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna batter through them one long weekend. I think it would be like binging on a TV box set, So
Yeah, I think
looking
that's fine.
forward to that.
Once again, I don't think you're missing out. The conversation didn't feel like it was there in the same way.
Oh, that's the thing. Yeah.
So I think do that.
back in the day,
both.
it was that. I mean, it had that same thing. Mass Effect was exactly the same. Every time a Mass Effect game came out, you would have weeks and weeks of people on Twitter
Yeah.
and Facebook or whatever exchanging moments. And well, I didn't do that. This happened to me, and this happened then. Whatever. But yeah, it just, as you say, it's sad it didn't happen this time round. I think otherwise a lot of people would have played it more. I bought a 3DS just because everyone was going on about fucking Animal Crossing.
Did you buy it to look at Pornhub?
No.
Jesus Christ, Dave. Come on, man.
Can you?
That was the
can you-
stats.
Can you look at Pornhub?
Who is looking at Pornhub on 3DS?
Really?
It's amazing. These stats came out. There's like a console breakdown of where people are visiting
Who released
Pornhub
this?
from.
Pornhub did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I suppose it's really secure, isn't it? It's
People look at it like, yeah, there'll be 3D on it. Yeah.
That's
Nope.
interesting.
People, Dave. People. Yeah, sure.
I haven't tried it yet. I might do it for research.
All right. Tom Murray, you've been playing
Hello.
any video games this week? What have you been up to?
Diablo still.
Oh yeah.
Diablo 3.
Feel any different about
Still
it?
Pretty much the same opinion. It's I like it, but I don't know why. Just playing it.
It's really relaxing, though, isn't it?
I can't seem to play it for more than about half an hour in a go.
Yeah.
I do something and I get returned back to like the hub bit, and I'm like, that'll do.
Isn't that's fine though, isn't it? Like, I guess that is nice to pick up and play.
Yeah.
You feel like you've got some kind of progress in that little half an hour playtime.
It's like, and it's very easy to play. You just hold some buttons down, mash a
kill
couple
the
of other
demons,
ones, kill them all,
pick up their shiny objects.
Yeah.
What about Metro? Because I've tried to get into... So, Metro 2033, played it for about an hour and a half, the original on 360, and it bored me so much.
So it has it's got a lot of slow bits, but the first one in particular has a lot of slow bits, and it still feels, even the redone one feels older than Last Light
That's the
does.
thing. So I've gone back to it again with the PS4 version, and I want to play 2033 before I start Last Light, even though everyone says Last Light's the better game. But 2033, man, about 45 minutes in, and I can't. I don't know what it is. I just don't. It hasn't grabbed me.
It's just slow. Like it's really slow. The whole opening of it is really slow. There's too much wandering around like camps and things, and just looking at the atmosphere and like people gathered around fires and stuff.
It's depressing. That's the point.
Yeah,
I get that. But then I look for other things to keep me going, like combat. Combat so far has been poor. Like
in 2033, it feels clunky for sure. Like I think I actually prefer that to the second one, because the second one felt a lot like the first one. So I kind of had my experience with the first one. It just felt different, more different than the second one does. But the combat is improved in the second one. It doesn't feel as low budget. I mean, I don't know what the budget was, but it certainly has a feel of a game that's technically impressive, but a little bit like the budget clearly wasn't like Call of Duty, which isn't like a
people love it though. Like you see all these such high scoring reviews. That's fine. That's your opinion. But my opinion is totally different.
I think possibly
so far, I haven't played enough, really. Obviously,
it does feel different to everything else. So it has that going for it. But I do think the first one has aged pretty badly, compared to lots of other stuff out there. It feels very much like a last gen game.
It's just like a PC game from about 2003.
Is Redux just a graphical upgrade? Is there
No, well, they've improved. I mean, lots of it is taking what they fixed or changed for the second one
and putting
that into the first one.
That makes sense.
You can kind of choose some of that to not have by playing on
classic.
They call it Ranger mode or something like that, which is like how it was meant to be played originally. Which you can play that in either version, or you can play the new version in either version. It kind of it's done well. I mean, they've changed it, but it didn't feel like. I mean, if you go back and play the first one, then look at this one, they've done a lot, but it doesn't feel like it. When you're going through it, unless you actively go and look back at what it was like. I mean, it's a decent as a HD collection or whatever. It's done very well. It's very good value for what 25 quid you can pick this up for two games that have had a lot of work done to them, compared to, say, what do we have, like Last of Us, which is essentially exactly the same game with some better textures and better frame rate and lighting changes here and there. But this has had a lot of more done to it. Like, you can see the changes. Some of it feels a bit odd, like the lighting. They've kind of got the lighting from the second game across both now, but it kind of ruins the atmosphere at points. Like, it feels a bit too bright. The first game had a very dingy feel to it, and now it doesn't.
Tell you a remaster done well. One of the best remasters ever.
Oh, he's going to talk about Conquer, isn't he?
Good, he's good.
Conquer Live and Reloaded.
Good
I was
game.
playing it all weekend. It's so good.
You've told me it's aged.
No,
Some
I think
of the jokes don't
the humour.
anymore.
It is like a spoof film when spoofs were popular, because it takes like stuff like The Matrix and does little scenes based on them and stuff.
Yeah.
So that stuff has.
It is a game of its time, and there are jokes in there. Like, there's a lot of poo jokes and all that. And you grow up and you're like, oh, another poo joke. Yeah,
but Jim definitely hasn't.
I like poo joke.
it still looks really good. It was an original Xbox game. It still looks like, if you didn't know, I mean, the fact it's not widescreen kind of gives it away. But you'd think, oh, that's a 360 game. Like, it looks nice.
It was like right near the end, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
It didn't. I mean, the Xbox had lots of stuff in it that was way ahead of what was available on the PS2. So you didn't often see that kind of thing. But then you did get the odd game like Doom and Riddick and stuff that really showed that it could do a lot more than what the PS2 could.
They totally remade it completely. Yeah, and like, they have sections in there, like the beginning, the tutorial section, essentially, one of the characters goes, or Conker questions what's happening. He's like, this didn't happen originally.
Why is there poo everywhere?
And it kind of breaks the fourth wall.
Oh, right, okay, I like that. So
the designers wanted us to change this bit to make you think that the rest of the game is different as well. So it's things like that. And it's really good. It's really good.
You'd really like it, Braz. I'm sure you would.
It's interesting looking at a remaster that is 10 years old and seeing how the remaster's coming out now. So like that's how it could be done. And I'm not saying like Last of Us is a great remaster, because it's a great game.
That was a proper
that was a proper from the ground up.
It's like what they did with Resident Evil on the GameCube.
Yeah.
It's like not just the original game, but in HD with some better textures. It is remade.
I think we found a feature idea. Yeah. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm looking at you, Braz, because it will work best on video.
Okay. Well, I know loads about Conker, so this will be great.
Oh yeah, I need it. Any excuse to play Conker.
We keep saying we're going to do this. We keep threatening to do this.
It's great.
We need to do something. We need to put you in front of
Conker live stream.
Brat to the Future. There we go. It's happening.
Brat to the future. Yes.
If you're so desperate to use that.
Yeah, I am.
It's been around for a year.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Also, quickly.
Yeah, sure.
Been playing. Diablo most of the time, but Velocity 2X.
All right. What are you playing?
The sequel to PS4.
PS4.
Sequel to Velocity.
Surprisingly.
Velocity Ultra, I think it was.
I'm a bit confused by this because Velocity was a shmup, right?
This is the same, but also with running bits.
Yeah.
It's got platforming in it.
Yeah.
I played it briefly, a small demo of it on the Vita. And it's split down the middle. It's about 50-50.
Yeah, and they try and do the same. Like the big gimmick. It's not really. It's like the big thing that separates these games from other shmups is that you can teleport your ship, and you can do that with you as well as a person running around.
Oh God!
So it's like it's
You're right, Jim.
It's hard to get your head around.
Jim can't get his. Jim's been blown away by that
but,
feature.
It just works somehow. Like your brain can just cope with it somehow, even at quite fast speeds. Like quite know how, but it does work.
I enjoyed playing it. Like the very brief time I spent with it. It looks really, really nice. It plays fast and. It seemed quite tricky as well. I don't know if I'm probably about a fifth of the way through, maybe. I think it's got like 50 levels or something. I imagine it's going to get incredibly hard by the end. Yeah. Just because the way it goes, it has to get increasingly tricky. Shmups.
I don't care for the normal kind of shmup stuff. I'll give them a go. I don't really care about them particularly. I've never been a massive fan, but this has something else about it that makes it more enjoyable.
I really want to get into shmups, but I can't. They're too difficult.
But it doesn't feel to me like a normal shmup. Lots of it is almost like time trial based, almost like it's a race through the levels and stuff, which feels different enough that I'm more interested. Mm-hmm. But I think it's out early September. We'll probably have a review around then. But I think if you like the first one, this one does a lot of that stuff as well.
It's not that far away, Tom. I bought a train ticket this morning, weekly train ticket.
Yep.
Date September 2nd expires. September 2nd.
Destiny, Dave, is out in under 2 weeks.
When are we having a review of that, Tom?
Don't know.
Don't you say that. Don't you say that.
Destiny. Do you remember Destiny when they announced that?
Yeah.
You weren't even born, Braz.
I know.
The day when they announced the big 10-year partnership, you were just not even a thing.
Not even a twinkle in my dad's eye at that stage.
Well,
and now look at us. I missed out on all the beta stuff, so I really want to play that game.
Yeah. On the what?
The beta.
Oh, beta stuff, right? Sorry.
Beta.
Yeah. No, I didn't know what you said.
I want to talk about Invisible Ink, but I feel like we're this podcast.
That's why I deliberately brought up the other games that you wouldn't have time.
Invisible Ink is from Clay Entertainment, the guys that made Don't Starve and Mark of the Ninja.
Right. Yeah.
So they're fucking good. And Invisible Ink is a turn-based stealth game.
Could have guessed it was turn-based coming from you, couldn't we?
And the setting is that you start the game.
Does it all look like XCOM?
It's you move around on a grid and it's turn-based.
It looks like that XCOM remake that he was going on.
Xenonauts.
No, it does not.
It looks
no,
like
it doesn't. It looks like Transistor or something.
Falling Skies, the video game.
Anyway, it's the setting that I really, really like. It's almost. I'm not sure. Would you describe it as a roguelike or not? Because you start off with 72 hours to prepare for a final mission. And the idea is that you go on as many missions during that period to try and get your team set up for whatever this final mission will be. But if you die or one of your agents dies, it's permadeath, so you don't get them back if you leave the mission. And I'm yet to get to that final mission. And I keep trying different builds and different ways of approaching it every time.
I mean, you have to get to it because all your people die?
Yes.
Right, okay.
I've got close to it multiple times.
Right, so it's not like you'll get other troops that are just less experienced, it'll just end.
Yeah, you start again. If one of your agents dies and you have to leave them on mission, which can happen, you'll just continue the game with one agent.
Right.
And
That sucks.
It does suck, but that makes your decisions more important. I think permadeath, if done right, can add to those kind of games.
So is the
tremendously.
roguelike stuff what makes it different to something like XCOM?
No, I think just the fact that I've never played a... okay, so it's turn-based, it's got permadeath in, but it doesn't really have combat in the same way. It's a stealth game. It's about sneaking around, stealing certain objectives, avoiding getting detected by guards, taking out cameras, that kind of stuff. But it's done from... The only thing it shares with XCOM is the viewpoint and the fact that you move around in a similar way. It's just a really, really... Like, they did Mark the Ninja, which I think is one of the best stealth games I've ever played. It's done in an entirely different way, but it's got that... It just feels like a fresh take on that genre like Mark of the Ninja did. And I'm really enjoying it.
It's not... Was it Steam Light? Green Light?
It's in early access at the moment, so it's... there's only 4 agents that you can play with, and once you complete that story, which is the 72-hour thing, you can do like an endless mode, but after that it'll probably fizzle out because you'll have had your fill with it. It sounds like it's going to be in early access for quite a while, to be honest. I was watching one of their dev streams and they were talking about doing like bi-weekly updates and then every month doing a major update, which will be, I imagine, like introducing new agents and new kind of missions to take on, that kind of stuff.
Do you think, is it at the moment just PC, or was it announced
it's just
consoles?
PC or
they
kind of avoided the topic of
Would
consoles.
it work on consoles?
Yeah, you can totally see it. It's the actual moving around is fairly straightforward. If a game like XCOM can work on there, this definitely can. Shall we move on to some questions?
Right. So, is this on me now? Am I being responsible?
Yeah, John, you can ask questions if you like. Pick some good ones.
This is hold music.
I'll probably just cut to when you found one. It's all right.
Wonderful.
Don't worry about the hold music. We're all good.
Right, I got one.
Hit us with your community-based question.
From Phil Beckinsale.
Hello, Phil. Phil, I like Phil.
Do you?
He always sticks up for me.
Why don't you like Phil?
It's the tyranny of Tom.
He's like, oh, Bratters, I love you, Bratters.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought
he
it was
loves Bratters.
Bratters was a knob.
No, he loves him.
Oh, well, this adds a twist to this question then.
Fine. I mean, no one can actually love Bratters.
Oh, God, what if he's betrayed my trust?
If Chris was to make a game, what type would it be? We know it would be great, given his quality video output.
See? So you thought
I think there was a tinge of sarcasm in there.
Was it if Chris was to get into a game, or if he was to make a game?
If he was to make a game,
right?
What type of game would it be?
Well, it would be turn-based and have
strategy
permadeath
game,
in it. Yeah, it would.
And it would probably like...
I'd like it to be a dating simulator.
Yeah.
Turn-based.
That's turn-based with permadeath.
Permadeath. That's actually, you know what? That's interesting.
It would be like...
I don't think the dating simulator has enough turn-based permadeath games.
Yeah.
That's a gap in the market right there. David Scanlon.
Cover-based.
Colour face. What are you taking colour from? The advances of other... Oh, crikey. This doesn't sound good now.
This took a bad turn.
Yeah.
Let's find another question.
Dave, do you know what? It got delayed from last week, but should be coming out shortly. Oh, I forgot.
Singles Flat Be Life 3.
Hatful Boyfriend, is that how you say it? The
one about pigeons.
The pigeon dating simulator.
Yeah, we've got to do that video.
I saw a pigeon this morning on the way to work. Bratters, saw a pigeon. Didn't have a head.
Did you try and... Oh,
Did you try and date it?
Didn't have a head.
I think that's a shame.
I saw that pigeon's got no head.
Yep.
That is sad.
I can't wait to tell the guys about this. They'll be very excited.
You mentioned the pigeon game, Bratters.
It's my fault. I take full responsibility for that.
I saw a motorbike go over a pigeon once.
You're ruining Hatful Boyfriend here, guys.
Walking down the road, motorbike goes over a pigeon. Horrendous crack. And it slowly died.
Permadeath.
Permadeath. Hatful Boyfriend's just a
That's
story
what I think of when I think of pigeons now.
about you going to a high school full of pigeons and trying to date them, and there were multiple endings by
Are they
like people with
like people would look like pigeons, or are they
No.
actual pigeons with pigeon personalities and traits.
They're all birds. You're the only non-bird.
What?
At the
You're
school.
not a bird?
Yeah.
No.
What? What
So-
is this?
So
Why are you trying to date pigeons if you're not
'Cause-
one of them?
it's
'Cause
a
it's
strange
after-
Japanese game that
No, it's
involves
after
birds.
the bird flu virus has wiped out most of humanity, and there's just birds.
what?
That's what it is.
That's no, it isn't.
Right.
That's not true.
Cut this until I find the
I do
Wikipedia.
not believe that.
So the bird flu virus wiped out more people than
birds.
Yeah.
So they
But
just
why
carried
would you
it.
still? You still wouldn't go right. My only
So,
hope
yeah.
is birds.
Yeah,
would you?
right. Okay, so the entirety of humanity has been wiped out. I'm the only person left, and the thing that's wiped out humanity is a disease that's been carried by birds. You wouldn't go to a school and surround yourselves with
And
them, and then
also,
try and
what-
date them and
what-
and have intimate
You're
relationships.
not. What do you do with the birds? Do you just talk to them?
Um,
Clearly, it's about someone with mental health issues, isn't it? Because for one, you can't talk to birds.
can't you?
No. Do you talk to them in English? Like, do they respond in
You
actual
talk to them in
words?
Japanese, but yeah. Oh,
The story is set in a
translated.
future version of Earth in which sapient birds are now common.
Yep.
And follows a girl, the only human student attending St. Pigeonation's
You've made up the
Institute.
bird flu thing. I fucking knew it.
No, there was definitely something in here about bird flu the other day.
There wasn't.
There was in the Wikipedia. It's like avian flu, it said.
Someone's changed it so that just.
Oh, here we
get-
go.
Okay, here we are.
Hateful Boyfriend is set in a post-apocalyptic dystopian future version of Earth in which a pandemic of a deadly mutated strain of the H5N1 virus nearly wipes out mankind in the year 2068.
Does anyone know if that's bird flu?
Well, let's
Yeah,
click
so-
the link.
Let's just assume it is. Okay.
H5N1 influenza. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, among bird populations. Many references to
Well,
bird
this-
flu.
Then for yet another reason why this game doesn't make a lot of sense.
Right, I'll have an apology off you.
Dave, I'm sorry for questioning your knowledge of Hatful Boyfriend.
Thank you very much.
I feel embarrassed.
No one ever heard
Excellent.
this apology, though, will they?
Nope. Absolutely
Right,
not.
well, another
Doesn't-
question.
Yep,
Doesn't
sure, why
make
not?
any sense.
When you're playing games for
You don't
ages,
make any sense.
what is your preferred seating arrangement? I sit on a wicker chair in the dark. That's
Playing
from
games in the
Sam
dark is a
Woodbridge.
very bad idea, for one. It hurts your eyes. You shouldn't watch TV.
Unless it's
Yeah.
a horror game, and then it's probably.
Do you remember all the
recommended.
manuals always say play in a well-lit room? Take breaks
Or
for
at
10
least
minutes
have
every
lighting
hour.
behind the TV, and it doesn't hurt your eyes as much. It's a good tip for you.
Do you do that?
No. I have to play in the dark at the moment because I have a sleeping baby in the room. He doesn't like bright lights when he's sleeping.
Oh.
It's a pain in the arse.
Chris, are you still doing that press-up challenge thing?
Nah.
What's
Stop.
happening?
Check out the pictures on
Melon's
Twitter
gone,
this
man.
morning for evidence.
Listen, that is defined bicep right there. Okay.
Here's one from
I feel like you're asking the questions, no one's answering.
Haru Kazuhira.
Yep.
What video game studio would you like to send Dave undercover to?
Crytek,
Your answer to everything's correct there.
I suppose. Kojima
The great thing
Productions.
about
What would the
Dave is
purpose
how-
of sending me be? Well, what
For
would...
you to be inappropriate.
So I've got...
like,
I'd like you to go
What?
to
I'm
Rare.
a
mate.
professional
What you
video
do.
game
Nah.
Serious answer
newsman.
for this serious question. Rare. What's going on at Rare? You go in, find out what's going on, Dave.
Right. Boring. That was a boring answer.
No.
Let's go with what you're saying.
He wants you to
quite
say
childish
something
and
like,
inappropriate.
the team making Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball 3 or something. That's what he wants you to say.
Yeah.
That's where he wants to go.
I don't want to send anyone there.
Well, that's his dream.
Decent placement. Right.
Fucking hell. Jeez.
What is the most embarrassing thing you've ever done in a game in the pursuit of immersion?
In a game.
Ew.
So, Dead or Alive, have you dressed up in a swimsuit?
I've never played Dead or Alive. I think the game looks fucking rubbish. That series looks fucking rubbish, sorry. Probably, well, it's not embarrassing, but like, you know, role-playing.
In a game.
Yeah.
You've
We've talked
been
about this in
role-playing?
Neptune's Private before, but in other games, yeah. Sure, why not?
Can we discuss this properly? Can we go into detail as to what
who
you...
did
You
you
shouldn't
play-
have said role playing.
Who was your character?
That's what the games are, if you didn't
Yeah,
know.
but-
Games are
yeah,
role-playing.
but-
You take
yeah,
on the role of
I'm-
a superhero
I'm
in
try-
Infamous,
I'm
and you play as them.
I am
That's
trying
the game,
to
Jim.
be your friend and help you out here.
So, who did you roleplay as and what
Yeah.
did you do?
Who were you in your last game in Neptune's Pride?
No, we talked about that before.
Chancellor.
All right, different game.
That's gone real
Chancellor Brat.
bad. I'd never call myself Chancellor Brat.
I'm Chancellor.
You called
Brat,
me that.
Chancellor Brat, and you had fanfic about all the concubines you had.
That's not true. You've written all of this.
No,
I watched you
I
write it.
saw you doing it.
Neptune's Prize gone real bad, by the way. It came third. It's all gone
Out of
sad.
how
I mean,
many?
you came last.
3.
Out of 8.
3
Out of
real
eight.
people.
8 players. 8 real
You
people.
came last out of 3.
I thought there were 5 NPCs.
That's because those people had left the game.
Right, so there were only 3 left.
Yeah, but that's because
Yeah,
they'd lost,
yeah.
Tom. Because they'd lost.
No,
There were only
why-
4 people left.
They'd stopped playing. They hadn't
Because
lost.
because
They
they
realised-
lost.
but you didn't beat those people.
I
They
beat
just-
Did they realise they were wasting their lives playing Neptune's Pride?
Which is losing in that game.
Wow. Or was winning.
That is one of the losing objectives. Do you guys not try and in RPGs take on
No.
get into?
Do
the
you
idea
say,
of the
do I
character?
sit there and pretend to be like the king of Dragon Age?
No, but I'm saying if you
Chancellor.
when you make the decisions as your Dragon Age character, don't you try and think create the picture of what that character looks like in your head, and then
Yes,
that is
but
role playing.
I don't.
That is role playing. Why do you laugh at the word
You
role
make
playing?
toast role playing as Chancellor Brat.
But I don't then go downstairs to my
Chancellor Pratt
sister.
doesn't exist.
I wouldn't then go downstairs to my sister or something and go,
That's
Lady Scammell, make me a cup of tea,
See, now
my
that's you
fine
being immature
brethren.
about the word role playing, because I never said that kind of. We're talking about within the confines of the game.
Do you not really get into it in a deep way where you bring that personality through into
Of
real
course,
life?
Of course not.
It's one step removed from LARPing,
video
isn't it?
games are an escape.
Have you ever been LARPing?
I haven't. No, I got nothing against it. Why should I? People enjoy it. Fucking
If you like LARPing, you like LARPing.
of course. Why should it be a thing that we mock?
I didn't.
Look down on?
I didn't bring it up to mock it. I asked if you'd gone
Excellent.
LARPing.
I haven't gone LARPing, David Scammell.
Wonderful. But you do like to pretend to be the king of Dragon Age. Apparently, Mario Kart is 22 years old today. Can you see any new titles being released nowadays that could have such longevity? Call of Duty.
Well,
How old is Call of Duty now?
When did the original come out?
Dunno.
99, 2000, 2001? I don't know, it's different now. It's
I
like
think
Mario
that-
Kart is
are they
multiplayer
asking
racer.
about a game that would come out today that would last that long.
Call of Duty has survived the death of the World War II shooter, survived the death of the modern shooter, and sort of.
It will eventually fizzle out, but that game's
the near
series
future shooter.
isn't
Destiny.
gonna- I think Destiny's going to last that long.
At least
Dunno.
10 years, isn't it?
League of Legends, Dota, probably
I
going
dunno.
to have quite good lifespans on them, you'd hope.
Star Wars, The Old Republic.
Brett Claxton.
We've got a question here from Brett Claxton, Dave, which I wrote down before
The
we
real
began
Brett
the podcast.
Claxton.
That's exactly what he wants to know,
With the real Brett
because he asks,
Claxton.
who
Please
am
stand
I?
up.
Oh my.
Because we received another voicemail this week.
From Brett Claxton.
Well, he says so, but I'm not really sure.
I
Do
do
Are we
enjoy
about
it.
to listen to this?
you want to hear it?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah. What's going on, Video Gamer Podcast? It's your boy Brett Claxton, aka B Clax, aka Clack Clack.
It does
Clack,
sound
Clack,
like Brett Claxton.
You know what I'm saying? Now listen, I've been hearing a lot of rumours, a lot of speculation, a lot of accumulation all up on this internet and shit. Is this the real Brett Claxton? Is this not the real Brett Claxton? Well, I'm here to tell you right now, this is the realest Brett Claxton you motherfuckers is about to encounter. And I'd like to
Definitely.
demonstrate that
That's
right
definitely
now.
him.
with a
You wouldn't
little
get that
song
enthusiastic
I like to
about
call
it
He
otherwise.
sounds
My name's
real.
Brett. Open brackets, Claxton.
He does have another rap for us here.
Do you like the name of this
Somebody.
song?
Yo. Yo, Brett. My name's Brett.
This is
My name's Brett.
this is what the song is for the most part.
Brett.
So shall I
My
cut
name's
him off there?
No.
Brett.
Leave it for a
My
bit.
name's Brett. It's not Adam or
name's
Steve,
Brett.
it's just Brett. Would you ever believe? My name's Brett. I ain't having you one. Brett is the name,
Please,
and the name
please.
of the song is just Brett.
Yeah.
It's not
press one
Darren
button
or
here
Lee,
and
it's
it goes
just
away.
Brett.
Does
I
he,
like
does,
it.
does he ever say
Double T, you know,
Claxton
Brett.
at the end?
Yeah.
All the
He does,
video
good.
gamers show a little love now. You know what the name is. Brett. Sing along now. Brett. My name's Brett.
Sing along.
Brett. My name's Brett.
Sounds a little bit out of breath.
Brett. My name's Brett
It sounds exhausting, doesn't
I'd
it?
be dead.
Claxton.
There we are.
Big up
There you
Video
are.
Gamer, yeah. Big up Simon Miller. Peace out to that dude. Peace to
Oh,
all the Bretts out in the
never mind.
world
Oh, good.
doing their thing.
Right, okay. Yeah, so I don't...
I think
This
Brett
start- this
Claxton is
started
a
off-
wonderful man, and I
off as a bit of a
encourage
joke.
him to continue sending us stories about himself.
Even if he isn't
But
the
is
real
that
one,
Brett
he
Claxton?
should be. Like, he deserved to be.
Of course, that's the real Brett Claxton. Why is this even a question?
He
Because
said
that
his name
isn't
about
because
100
Because
times.
it's not the real Brett
I
Claxton.
don't think it is, no.
It definitely is.
If
No,
you're
it's
Brett
not.
Claxton, you can ring in our voicemail. And
I
let us
heard
know.
Brett Claxton. They had the real Brett Claxton on a podcast. He sounds nothing like that.
You've gone down this rabbit hole, haven't you?
Yeah, I've
I'm a little
looked into
intrigued why this has started. And
Would you like to be the new news editor? Investigative journalism.
What is the number they can call Bratters?
020-347-54736.
Look, if the real actual
Brett,
Brett Claxton can phone in, just so everyone knows what he sounds like, I can verify that it's you.
but can you, Jim?
Yes, I can.
How do you know the person that was on that podcast wasn't pretending to be Brett
And
Claxton?
also, we don't want to end this.
Don't.
We don't want to end this kind of regular podcast section, do we? If we find out for the truth, it'll be dead. It'll be over.
Basically, everyone who is Brett Claxton
Needs to call.
should
Needs to
phone
stand
in.
up.
We would love to hear your
Ideally,
messages
with a rap.
explaining why you're Brett Claxton, who you are.
We need some concrete proof because right now
I never knew anyone called Brett until I started working here.
It's an
I
interesting.
thought it was a
fact.
made-up name.
All names are made up. Here's another voicemail we've got from. This is another returning feature actually. Last week you'll remember that we had.
Not Crazy Taxi Man.
We had a taxi driver ring up
Yeah.
to what was he on about last
Metal
week?
Gear, wasn't
Metal
it?
Gear,
He was
Metal
on about
Gear,
whether or not if we knew when Metal Gear was coming out because
Yeah.
He'd heard it in the
his
cab. Yeah.
Well,
Has he got a release date for PS5 yet?
I thought in fact asked him to
I did.
ring up with some tidbits if he hears anything
Oh, yeah.
around the streets.
If you got any tips,
London,
any
I
leaks,
guess.
anything.
So here we are.
Oh, hello, boys. Hello. I listened to your old podcast there last week. Not a real cab driver. Anyway, I thought I'd let you know I had Major Nelson in the back of my cab the other
There you are.
week.
Oh, there you go. Big name.
Dressed like a cunt he was. I said to him, I thought, I'll ask him about that new Halo game coming out. So I asked him, the bloke started crying. Unbelievable. He said, dear, they ain't even started work on that one yet. So they've announced it, they ain't fucking done anything on it. So I don't know what that means. I've just don't expect it anytime soon, I suppose. But all right, lads, I'll let you know. Little tip for you.
All right,
Good
here we are.
stuff.
All right, then, lads.
Excellent.
That's the sort of stuff we
Yeah.
need.
So I mean, you heard it here first. I
Can you
think
make him news editor?
usually with these types of things, I think you want to get two trusted sources, not necessarily connected with each other, so you can really verify that's true.
We've got it. We've got him
that
and
guy-
Major
I don't know.
Nelson.
But that guy sounds pretty legit, doesn't he?
I don't know.
If we're
Major
honest?
Nelson dresses like a cunt seems pretty solid.
Exactly.
To me.
So I mean, you heard it here. Halo 5. They haven't started working on it. I don't know what it was they were showing.
We
at
didn't say
Gamescom.
Whoa.
He said the
Wait,
next
he said
Halo,
the
didn't
next
he?
Oh, right,
Halo.
okay.
Whoa, you're
Is
not
that
news
not the next
editor.
Halo?
We don't know. After he might have just crossed wires and stuff. Could be anything.
Remember, your next Halo journey begins
Okay,
2014.
but it might not because they haven't started working on it. According to our trusted source, an unnamed taxi driver we think he's a taxi driver.
Hey, here's Halo 5.
I don't like the
Your
people-
next Halo
What?
journey begins
Why do
2014.
He
people-
sounded like Ben Elton doing an impression of a Cockney.
Why do people ring up this voicemail thing and then pretend to? Well,
Maybe they're all Ben
potentially
Elton.
pretend to be other people.
Can we talk about that for a minute? Just briefly. This has
Yeah.
got me thinking.
Right.
Microsoft's messaging.
Oh, okay. Right.
Because when they announced Halo on Xbox One, did they call it Halo 5?
No.
They didn't call it Halo 2, did they? Or Halo? They just said Halo.
They mean that teaser with
The
the
teaser
comes
is
out
him
of
in the sand.
Yeah.
And then they said, your next journey begins 2014.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty reasonable for people to think, a new Halo game is
Yeah.
coming
I
out
think
in
everyone assumed
2014.
that was
Can you
Halo
go?
5 coming this year.
And for Microsoft to then turn around and go, whoa, we never said that was a new Halo. We never said it was Halo 5.
Check out the Halo channel because
I think it sounds exactly like what they're trying to pull with Tomb Raider.
what
do you
as
not
in
think-
avoiding being specific?
Yes.
Well, just complete misinformation. Like
And then-
deliberately confusing
and
the
then,
issue.
exactly. And then when people get arsy about it or start asking questions, it's like, well, we never said that.
Yeah, you just thought that,
And I just
because we
think
suggested it.
maybe you should start being a bit clearer with people, and that will avoid them being angry with you.
It's an old kind of debating tactic.
Honesty
isn't
is
it,
the
to
best
basically
policy.
To imply
Microsoft.
very heavily that you're saying something and then call someone on it when they.
Oh, well, Microsoft, look, don't
So
get me
that-
wrong. Microsoft aren't the only ones that do this.
Yeah.
Sony are quite good at this as well. Like, you can invite people into Far Cry 4, but you need a key, and they can only do it for
A couple of
2 hours.
hours and
couple
it'd
of
be
hours.
maximum
And
10 people.
you can get people to come and play your games with the PlayStation Play Share thing. Oh, but it's only valid for 60 minutes.
I mean, of course it is. Well, we didn't say it wasn't, so why? You...
I just think like these, and Sony's getting away with it because of the position they're in, obviously. But I don't know. I just think
It's getting you down, isn't it, Dave?
it's not getting me down. I just look back and I'm like, I know why they're doing it. That's PR, right? That's just, we didn't have time to explain that on the Gamescom.
We were in such a
on
rush.
You know what I mean? We had time to announce someone else's game, didn't you? It was exclusive. Yeah, right, fine. Anyway, rant over.
Cool.
Do we have any more?
We do, but those are the only two I got before the internet went down in the office.
Oh, right.
I hope the internet's back.
Are we hoping that taxi driver man calls in again?
Definitely.
Well, I mean, only if he has someone else in the back of his taxi.
If it's legitimate, don't make anything up.
Yeah.
But if he does have someone in the back of his cab,
I am worried after this big break. Now he's going to feel like he has to make things up to keep it going.
From like Major Nelson? Like that's like
it was a real stroke of luck as well, wasn't it? That, I mean, what was?
Didn't he have Peter Moore in his car once? Did I make that up?
Did he? What?
Maybe I imagined that. Maybe it was my dream I had.
You dreaming about Peter Moore again?
I don't know.
It would be very alarming if he does have Peter Moore in his car now, and you predicted this.
Yeah.
Because the chances of that happening are
slim. Particularly as he's probably based out of America.
I mean, I don't know what Major Nelson was doing in the UK either.
He was actually in the UK, I'm pretty sure.
Around Gamescom time, like before or after?
Not around Gamescom time, no.
He has been in the UK.
No, but I'm pretty sure he has recently...
So was Jeff Keighley. Do you remember when he was out with Peter Molyneux?
He was like, yeah, I'm out in Guildford if anyone wants to come out.
What?
And I was like, you don't get that?
Why did we not?
I was staying in Guildford 3 months ago. I still wouldn't have fucking bothered. But there we go.
All right, then.
We should do that. Should we go out tonight? Be like, yep, come for a drink with us at... let's just pick a pub right now.
Sure.
The Green Dragon in Croydon.
Yep, Dave will be there.
I might be busy. But there is a pub in Croydon called the Green Dragon. In fact, if you're listening, man that I met on Friday night, who looked at me and said, Scammell. And I looked back at you and I said, have we met? If you are in the Green Dragon again, shit, kick me, Mike.
Say hello.
Say hello. Maybe I'll see you again.
Somebody you'd never met before, address you by your surname. That's weird.
That is really cool.
Has everyone had that now? Where they've had someone they don't know recognise them?
Yeah.
It was lovely meeting this guy. It's always nice to meet fans.
It is dangerous when people recognise you, though. It could be for a lot of different reasons.
I was a little drunk. Didn't know what to say.
What did you do? You didn't embarrass yourself.
He got his willy out.
That is your defense.
It's already out. That's how he recognised me. That made even Bratters laugh. Unbelievable.
All right, okay. We'll probably wrap up the podcast after that. We have got a competition going on at the moment if you want to get involved and win a video game.
What is it? What do they have to do this month?
£50 shop to like that. It's because of how impressed we all were by the Silent Hills reveal through PT. We're asking you to come up with inventive and or amusing ways
to reveal
your new video game, because just doing a trailer doesn't work anymore. It doesn't cut it.
No,
we demand more after PT. And so if you go over to the Video Gamer forums and I don't know, draw a picture of what you do or something that we can show off.
Will there be a link in the description on YouTube?
There will be if you're on YouTube, yes. And if you're on the site already, just click forums and you'll find it. And yeah, win a video game, and we'll probably showcase your entries in some kind of gallery later on, which is quite fun. And you get to hear Scammell say something about whatever you've done, which is always nice.
Yeah, sometimes.
Just like that. Like that.
Just before we go, Doctor Who's still shit.
Why would you say that?
I haven't got time to talk about it.
Capaldi was excellent.
No, let's end this now.
I enjoyed
You two went to the cinema to see it.
Damn straight we did.
We did.
Video team represent.
I get the impression that Jim didn't like it and you did.
No, I really enjoyed it. I just don't want to. I don't want
to hang out with him anymore.
No, I just don't want to.
We had a lovely time, Jim, didn't we?
We did have a lovely time.
There we are.
I really enjoyed it.
Did you get popcorn?
I love Doctor Who.
No.
I just don't like
Was
telling people
popcorn
I
on
love
offer?
Doctor Who.
I had some licorice all sorts. That'll do it for the Video Game UK podcast. Thank you very much for listening.
Why are you embarrassed about licorice all sorts?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
realised
I don't understand. That was a really big, like, a cover-up.
What did you really have?
What?
Is this code for...
Thanks for joining me, Tom Murray,
Bye.
Jim Trinker,
No.
David Scammell.
You're weird. Like, licorice all sorts, I don't like them. But it's not like it's some massive controversy that people eat licorice.
I just thought it was a bit boring, so I moved on.
You don't like licorice all sorts?
No,
See, look what you've started.
This erupted. Because Brad had this massive bag of licorice all sorts and I went, I don't like licorice. And he fucking looked at me like I just shat.
I don't really like it either, apart from the chewy ones that are covered in like the little bits.
They're incredible. One of the best sweets you can get on the market.
No, it's such a northern thing to say.
Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
I like the fruit salads.
Good.
And the, what is it? Dips, you lick and dip or something.
Lick and sherbet dib
What was the other thing Brad
Lick
said?
and dip,
He's like, I don't
Not
like
lick and dip.
cinemas in the south. You can't get whippet snouts.
That's